Good morning. Today I got something a little bit different. Not all my treasure hunting involves metal detecting, and so today we're going to do a little bit of scrapping. Sometimes I'll find appliances or vacuum cleaners like that on the side of the road. I'll take them home and I'll open them up and try to get the goodies out of it, get the copper and the wires and so much so I can take it to the scrapyard. Anyway, today that's what we're going to be looking at. Um, Let me run through the project. Let me show you around a little bit and then we'll run through the project. Yeah, so these are just some of the containers I have. This here is a container of wire, copper wire. It's number 2 copper, and I'm trying to accumulate about 20 to 30 pounds of this. Right now I've got about 6 pounds built up. Um, These are brass prongs that come off of power cords. You know, I save all the nuts and bolts and screws, and that adds up, and it goes into a category called shred or tin. And then this is just, these are brass plugs too, but they're nickel plated. Um, and you know, here just some metal that I've collected in a bin here. It all adds up. This is just going to be steel or tin shred. It's not worth a whole lot, but I save it because it all adds up. And over here, this is aluminum. I have a mixture here of clean and dirty aluminum. I'll have to sort through that before I take it to the scrapyard. Aluminum, usually if it's clean, you can get about 40 cents a pound for it, so it's worth saving that. And I also save over here, I got a can crusher and a bag of cans, and I save aluminum cans, and I'll get 38 cents a pound for that, so it's well worth saving. You know, wires, cords, power cords, I keep them in this bag here. When the bag's full, I'll take it into the scrapyard, and you'll get some money for that as well. These are some other wires. I haven't quite decided what to do with these. If some of them are good, I might resell them. So I have this little tool area that I have where I keep all my tools. And then back over here, this is my wife bought me this Stripmeister for Christmas. A very nice little tool for helping to strip wires. I have a small vise on this workbench, and okay, so that's pretty much what we got going. And then for today, this project, I'm gonna try and disassemble this Black & Decker edger and get the motor out of it. I know there's going to be some copper in that motor, so let me get started on it, and I'll stop and give you an update when I get to a certain breaking point. So one of the things that comes in handy is one of these security screw sets with Torx kind of pattern, star pattern on it. And because a lot of these little screws and things on here, I need to use it for that, and a regular screwdriver is just not going to work. So good tip, pick up one of these things. They're always invaluable. So inside the handle, there's this switch, and I'll cut these wires on this switch and save it. Later, disassemble the switch. There's usually some silver contacts in there that are worth saving. Maybe not. And then the other part about the cord, the end of the cord has these brass prongs. I will pull those out and save them also. Okay, so the biggest challenge with taking this handle off was it was just rusted on and stuck. So I wound up taking my angle grinder and kind of cutting that and then bending it till it broke. So here's the couple pieces of the handle. That'll go in with my scrap metal. Now next step, I'll cut this cord off, and then I'll start figuring out how I can get inside this thing to get that motor out of there. To me, the most important thing is going to be that motor, because it's going to have, hopefully it's going to have some copper in it. So we'll see what we can get. Be back in a little bit. Well, I pretty much got the housing off the motor. A lot of these little Torx screws were holding that back orange. This cover on every one of these little holes had one of these Torx screws. Not so easy to get out. Finally had to cut one of them off with the angle grinder, but did get it out. Still got some things holding this motor in place. And the biggest issue I have is I have one of these little spring retaining clips on here. I need to get that off in order to get this plate off here, and I think if I can get all that off of there, I think I can pop that motor out for sure. But look at that, that's a nice size motor. When we get it out, we're gonna take a look at it and see what kind of copper we got in there, and hopefully it's not aluminum, but yeah, we're gonna see. Okay, so there was a retaining clip on here that then was holding this metal piece on, and I was able to get that retaining clip off, which allowed this to come off. So I'm thinking now that motor probably will pull out of there. Not sure. We're going to give it a try. I don't think it's not just going to lift up. So I don't know where I can set the camera. Okay, let's see if we can take a few more pieces apart. I can go in with the shred. And what do we got? So I've got some, looks like more of these I don't know. There's a couple more of these hex screws down in this housing that need to come out, so I'm going to tackle those, and we should be able to pull this thing out. Okay, I'm going to see if this will lift out of here now. Still hot. Okay, there was like one more of those hex nuts right in there, and I think that's the last one. I got it out, so we should be able to, there we go. Now we got the motor out. The rest of this is plastic. Maybe there's some little pieces on the wheels, but I'm not going to bother with it. I'm going to put it with the plastic stuff, and that'll go in the trash. So now the next step will be to kind of look into this motor and see what we need to do to get this thing apart. I think there's more of these hex screws on the back side. So I just about have the last of these T20 star Torx screws removed, and that should allow us to open this thing up. Alright, so there we go. Alright, there gets us the front part of it looks like this must be a gearbox, and there's a metal bushing in there. So yeah, the gearbox may have some interesting goodies in there too. And then this now is our motor. We got this plastic fan. Got some copper wire on here. This is the armature for the motor, and I'll dig into this. Maybe I can make another video on this, but this is the they call it the accumulator. That's got copper, and then the copper wire, that'll all be number 2 copper wire. So I will work on getting that out of there. And then inside here, we still have another coil. I'm gonna scratch that coil because sometimes that inner coil is just aluminum. I got my file. Oh, and surprisingly, that wire is copper in there, so that's a good bonus for us. Sometimes it's aluminum, but you really can't tell until you actually scratch it. And then once you scratch it, you can see the color coming through. And if it's a white color, it'll be so if it's a white color, let me put this back in here. If the color is white, it's going to be aluminum, but I don't know if it shows up on the camera, but to me, to my eye here, it's a bright, shiny copper color. So that wire in there is going to be important. Okay, so after we got done with that motor from that edger, this is the armature for it, and it's got some nice copper material in there. And we're gonna work on that in the next video, like a part 2 from this one. And then in addition to that, the other neat piece was this is the stator portion of the motor, and this here, I did scrape it, and I don't know if you can see, but this is also copper. Sometimes these stators have aluminum wire in it, but this one does happen to be copper, and it's pretty heavy, and this is going to have a good bit of copper wire in there, and I'm going to work on that also in another video. So anyway, for now, that's it. So my metal detecting isn't the only treasure hunting I do. I just wanted to remind you, if you like, go ahead and subscribe, and watch for the next one. Talk to you later.